I'm your ice cream man, baby. Stop me when I'm passing by. How's your angle here? Oh, perfect.
I think our angle is very nice, but you have to check an angle.
I have to press record.
Okay. To check an angle, you have to make a face.
Blue steel always.
How's our angle?
You know what the blue steel is? It's the Paul Stanley from Kiss album, every album cover before Ben Stiller took it over and called it blue steel. But if you look at Paul Stanley, the Star Child, every Paul Stanley, Dynasty, Hotter Than Hell.
Love Ben Stiller.
I love Paul Stanley.
Yeah,
and Gene Simmons. All Jews, by the way. All three. The three people that we've mentioned are all Jews.
I think every episode you talk about being a Jew.
I'm so proud.
It's the thread.
It's the thread.
That runs through it all.
Some people call it a through line. I call it a Jew line.
A Jew line?
Yes.
I like it.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Do you know what I mean? That's not like everywhere. A Jew. It's a different Jew.
Listen, I can pepper in Jew in every conversation.
Very nice.
You got it.
You with me?
You know, I'm with you. Okay, so we have just for the viewer, we have just done two what we think are high quality engagement, entertainment, educational clips, and we're going in for another dive.
Yep. Magic 3. There's magic in threes.
So that is why I'm deeply exhaling. What do you think is some of this initial ground that still needs to be covered that we've yet to cover for our starter audience in the starter series of videos?
Well, we haven't done the thing where we talk about who we are and what matters to us. I did actually have that thought this morning on my way to start. It was like, tell me about producing, or tell me about music, or I don't know, like tell me about the hottest thing that's turning you on right now around music, because that's what you do. You're a music producer.
Yes. Okay. The hottest thing right now is the hottest thing that's always been, and that is chasing the elusive great song. Not good song, great song, because there's the music, and this is a great spiral back to one of the things we quickly touched on earlier. There is the music, which to me comes easily. Then there are the lyrics, which I can do, but I have to hit the lyrical gym all the time and flex.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is the fit of the lyric with the music that has to be seamless in terms of phrasing. Then does the mood of the music match the story concept?
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Perfect happy, perfect sad, perfect turbulent. And then does the communication of that by the performers come through really well? Is it perfectly plaintive? Is it perfectly pure? Is it perfectly growly and angry? When you get those 4 or 5 elements working together really well, you might have the makings of something magical. Especially if you can say something that's already been said, but in your own new way. Because there are no new things to discuss. There are just new ways to discuss them, right? And so I'm constantly chasing that. And that still turns me on after decades of doing it, so much so that I remain a humble chaser. And I have to be humble because I do average frequently, and great I don't even do, it just happens. You can't push your way towards great. And so I keep, it's the chase.
You need to say that again, because that's a really important thing, that you can't push your way to great.
I do average all the time. Average is a habit. It's what we normally do. It's our default position. But you can't push to great. This is what I love about making music. There's some magical element that goes beyond the clinical mathematical components of songwriting. There's some fairy dust that comes down in a particular session where the sounds align, or the rapport of the collaborators align, or there's just joy and trust and vulnerability in the room. And that's not something you can push your way to. It just happens, like electricity between two people. Right? It's just electric. You can't force your way to electricity. It's your natural makeup and the way you show up in that vignette of your life, combined with this other person and their natural makeup and the way they show up in that particular vignette, and how there's an immediate synergy in a fireworks that's not up to us. That's up to the muses. I don't know what that is. I don't want to know what that is. I know that it completely exists.
Yeah.
And I know that when we're blessed to have it in our space, it is undeniable. And that is the difference between what we do on an average day and what is truly infused with magic that takes us to some other place, which is great. The whole, I've said it before, good is the enemy of great, which is not my quote, but it is absolutely true. And you can't demystify it and you can't analyze it. It's some other force. I'm so captivated by, it's hard to say chasing the force, being open and receptive so the force can enter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so captivated by that because I will never understand it. It's so akin to women.
Mm-hmm.
You can chase them, and you will forever chase them because you want to unlock the mystery of woman. You will never do it. It's a failing proposition. And that's why we keep chasing, because we think we will somehow have some sort of awareness or some sort of epiphany or some sort of revelation. And we get up optimistically and hopefully every day and embark on the chase. But it's the elusive nature of that magic that keeps us coming back. When long soliloquy, my apologies, but just to wrap it up, when I finish a song and I get a song placed in a project, I get paid for that song. That's not exciting. What's exciting is seeing my name for the first time on the credits on a screen, written by or produced by. I want to chase that. The first time you hear it synced up to some video, or the first time you hear it on the radio, that feeling takes your breath away. That's what I want to chase. And because that's another element of that magic of, it's a first.
Okay, so say more, because if I'm understanding you right, it's that muse piece, it's that connective tissue piece where pieces come together to create something bigger than it was on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you create a piece, you get paid for it, great. But when you see it attached to a project where now there's another element involved, is that the magic that you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the magic after the writing. There's a magic in the writing, and then the magic after the writing.
Yeah.
That it's almost existential. It says, I belong. I'm here. Okay. I matter. I played a part in something external to me.
Uh-huh.
I think that's why I love parenting so much, because that's the only other experience where I get that. When I look at my kids, it's not about me. It's about them, and yet they validate that I belonged, I had a role, I had a purpose, I mattered. Mm-hmm. I contributed to something much larger. Mm-hmm. And look at them now. Mm-hmm. And that's what a song is in the universe. Mm-hmm. It's a child in the universe that validates your raison d'etre. And our raison d'etre is not to get up and get on the treadmill and do the pedantic mundane. It's to do something so vastly and hugely existential. It says, I have given of myself externally in the best possible way I could. Mm-hmm. And now it lives on beyond me, which is incredible. Mm-hmm. It lives on beyond me.
I think what I'm finding so fascinating about this is that someone from the outside who can't feel you as you're talking, but if they just read these words on a page, pardon me, if they just read these words on a page, they might go, oh, that's all about ego.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what you're talking about. And I can feel that in you, and I can feel it in the space between the words that you're saying here. I can feel it in our knees touching.
Yeah, still touching.
Right. But truly, like they exist, like your children, or this piece of art exists, therefore I exist. And it's I'm really hearing that it's not about the spotlight of you, it's about the contribution, and that there's a sense of understanding. I'm putting narrative onto this now, but there's a sense of understanding why you're here when you see your work as a piece of art or your children exist outside of you. You see you in that, and
yes.
Now you know why you were here in the first place.
And it locks into, you're living your calling, you're meant to do this.
Okay.
So I don't know if you feel this, and this is in no way to diminish anybody else or anything else or any other profession, but this is a recurring thought I have. Tell me if you have anything along these lines. I go into a grocery store and I buy my groceries, and then I go to checkout. And the checkout clerk who's running my food through and is about to charge me for the food, I look at them and I say, "Oh, we don't know you. You're wearing a mask, but there's something about your life that we have no clue of, because we see you as this checkout person, which is not at all what you're meant to do. It's not your calling. It's not the thing that says, I matter, I exist. I wonder what that thing is in your life that I don't know about. And when you go home or you leave the grocery store, what is that thing that you tap into that is similar to what I just described? And isn't it sad that I just see you in this role, or that so many people that come through here and buy their groceries from you just see this in you? I feel for you, because I'm sure you want to show the other, the thing that matters. You know, and I'm not putting down, I'm not saying what you're doing doesn't matter, but I'm just saying.
I totally get it. Yeah. But I want to play here a little bit. Because I think you're on, for me, it's a yes and. And so, so for example, I have that exact same experience, because when I meet people, I fucking love people. I love them. And so just being with someone for 20 minutes, I will like pull out something that is that other part of them. It's like people pass a sniff test for me. It's like they walk by, I'm like, what's that thing that you talk about that you're not talking about? I go there immediately, because I'm drawn to that. And so that's my yes. The checkout gal, totally. I want to meet that checkout gal's idiosyncrasy. And I will play that game. I'll be the shopper who like asks the dumb question to the checkout gal, because I want to find out what their idiosyncrasy is. That's their awesome. I play that game all the time. So here's my and though. When I think of Nancy, our undisclosed location general store person.
Yes.
Oh my God, you cannot tell me she's not made for that. Is she made for all kinds of other things? For sure. But does she ever make my day and every person's day by being the grocery store gal? Holy shitballs, she does. Like my children tell stories about Nancy.
But Nancy, that's secondary.
Okay.
What's primary about Nancy is her connection with people.
Yes.
Not the fact that bananas are $1.99.
Yes, you're totally right.
And so that's her vehicle to connecting.
Nicely said.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not about the role. It's about who you are in the role.
That's right.
And are you bringing who you are in the role? I get it. Like there are lots of, God, do you know how many times I've been fired? I've been fired 3 times because I should not be in jobs. Now, I was under 30, so I'm going to give myself some permission there. But I cannot not be who I am, which means there's certain jobs that are just too contained. They're too boxed in for me because I wear who I am first.
You're not meant to run a ninja dojo. It's just not who you are. You're meant to do other things.
Yeah.
Just the administrative task of running a dojo like that, and so secretive. I totally understand. Yeah, I think it's so huge to know what kind of animal you are and maximize that animal. And it's irrelevant what you do every day, as long as every day you plug into maximizing that animal, whatever that means to you. And so we're so blessed that we found our pathway. I know what I love, and I know how to be articulate in that, and how to extract it, how to exercise it like a demon, like a beautiful, delicious demon. I know how to do that. You found the same thing.
Yeah.
But I would pose the following question, or pose the following challenge. How many of you can say the same? And if you can't say it, why can't you? Why don't you take a little inventory and figure out what kind of animal you are and what you can do just a little bit every day, because it'll compile to be a huge, vast mountain. But just a little bit, 5 minutes every day, to really speak to the animal that you are and address your passion or find out what your passion is. You know, it's so funny. I'm on day 73 of Duolingo. I'm learning Spanish. And some days I put in a half hour and get through a lot of sessions, and some days I just put in 3-4 minutes. But 73 days later, not only do I get the beautiful screen that says, hey, you're on fire, 73 days from Duolingo, but I realize, oh, my little investments, and mostly minuscule, have now prepared me for a trip to Miami where I can order a meal, find a hotel, and ask people about the state of their heart. And I couldn't do that 73 days ago. And therein lies all of our objectives, I think, is to every day check in with ourselves, who we're meant to be, and see what we can do to augment that, to amplify that. If you're not doing it, why aren't you? What a disservice to your condition, to the human condition. What do you think about that?
I just love your last line. I'm still hooked by it. I barely heard the last 10 seconds of what you said. But the fact that you're learning how to speak Spanish and that it allows you to ask people the state of their heart.
Yes.
That's all that mattered to me about everything else. That's it. I'm like, that's who you are.
Because when I go to the
That's
grocery
beautiful.
store, thank you. When I go to the grocery store, I don't want to thank somebody for my $1.99 bananas. I want to say, how's your heart? Because that's an opener to a much bigger conversation. Because first they'll stop and they'll say, excuse me? And I'll say, how's your heart? I'll say, what do you mean? I said, what did I just say? That's what I meant. How's your heart? Tell me about it.
God, you've actually asked that of me a few times.
Yeah, I want to know where you are as a being. I don't want to know how you're doing.
How's your heart?
I want to go deep immediately. Yeah. And that matters to me. That's what I want to learn on Duolingo. I want to learn how to go deep in my conversations the way I do in English. And I want to know how to make an impact, and I want to know how to connect with people. So Nancy at the store is probably leaps and bounds ahead of me with connection, because she practices it more than a lone wolf like me does. But I think the real topic here is, why do you do what you do? What do you love? How can you pursue it daily? And how can you do your little Duolingo lesson daily in the area of your passion?
And if you can't answer those questions for whatever reason, I would just start with, how's your heart? Answer that, and that will take you places.
When I'm passing